Hey folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier, One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan YouTube channel. I want to talk about this Max Holloway victory for the BMF Baddest Mofo Championship in UFC last night. I did watch the whole card, and in fact, I was recording a whole hour-long reaction, live interactive video, and unfortunately the audio stunk, so I erased the whole thing. But my biggest point for the whole night was Max Holloway defeating Justin Gaethje. Sorry, I have a hard time saying his name. Gaethje. Yes, he broke his nose with it was a spinning back kick at the end of the first round. Knocks him out with 1 second left in the fight. Let's talk about some eye pokes, folks. I mean, everyone's just kind of sweeping this under the rug, but before the kick to the nose that broke Justin's nose, Max hit him with 2 eye pokes, 1 in each eye with the thumbs. And people are just blowing this off and thinking it's not a big deal. And that's just part of the game and all that fucking horse shit. But in my opinion, okay, if you look at the chronological events of this fight, the 2 thumb in the eyes, which only got a warning after 2 of them from the referee, after 2 thumb in the eyes, that's when Justin got kicked in the nose at the end of the first round. We will never know one way or the other. We don't have a time machine. This is not a choose your own adventure book. This is a fight, okay, in present tense. So we'll never know what would have happened if those eye pokes were not delivered and received. And Justin, to his credit, did not complain, did not bitch, did not milk the time. He could have asked for more time. Everyone, I think, would have understood. Do me a fucking favor, folks. Go back and watch the video. Oh my God, did you hear that? Go back and watch the video. It's all over, YouTube and so forth, of the eye pokes. Because these were pretty vicious eye pokes. I'm not saying that they were deliberate, but I am saying that Max, really got his finger in there. You know what I mean? If you've ever even had glasses and you're adjusting them, and sometimes you hit your eye with the glasses, like the edge of your own eyeglasses, the handlebar or whatever. Or if you ever just kind of rub your eye and you rub your eye the wrong way, or if you're playing basketball or something and somebody kind of pokes your eye, that bothers you for many minutes, sometimes it's one of those things that could nag at you for the rest of the day. You're like, oh, I get poked in the eye. I happen to get suntan lotion in my eye quite a bit, okay? With all my sunning, I happen to get the suntan lotion in my eye. And it's really one of the most annoying things. Looking at those eye pokes, once again, cross-reference, don't just take my word for it. When you see how nasty they are, it's really a credit to Justin Gaethje that he kept on fighting. I know I'm slaughtering his last name. But Max, I don't see how this eye poking is just kind of, not discussed. I just watched Chael Sonnen. Congratulations to Chael Sonnen for his Hall of Fame acceptance, which is nice, or induction to be type of thing. And that's great. But Chael Sonnen mentioned nothing about it. And in the post-fight stuff, there was very little reference of the eye poke. There was some mention of it, but no one went out there and said, hey, how does this fight go down if Max Holloway does not get these 2 eye pokes in on this guy? Nobody wanted to take away from Max Holloway's victory. It's seeming like they want to pump this guy up like he's the flavor of the day now because he's got this victory. And people are saying, oh my God, this is the greatest knockout ever in sports. I thoroughly disagree. Chael Sonnen in his video was referencing some Pacquiao getting knocked out in the final seconds of a fight. The fourth, was it the 4th Marquez fight or some such thing? I guess I didn't see that one. I'm thinking back, way back, Julio Cesar Chavez was getting his ass kicked for basically 11 rounds against Meldrick Taylor. This is going back, I think, to 1990 or 1991. 12th round comes. I think Julio Cesar Chavez at this point was still undefeated, which he had like a ton of fights, but he was still undefeated at this point. And they're going, and then Meldrick Taylor is just dominating this fight, so he's probably winning 9 rounds to 2 or 10 rounds to 1 in going into the 12th. So the 12th round comes, and suddenly Julio Cesar Chavez knocks Meldrick Taylor down. The referee, Richard Steele, calls for an end to the fight with 2 seconds left. Meldrick got to his feet, but the referee stopped it with 2 seconds left. Had Richard Steele allowed them to fight, maybe Chavez gets in 1 punch. And a lot of people at that time were thinking that Meldrick was robbed, and he would have been, I believe, the first guy to beat Julio Cesar Chavez. So if you want to talk about the greatest knockdowns, because Sutton was comparing different sports. He wasn't restricting his thing to UFC or mixed martial arts. He was opening up to boxing. So if you're going to go into boxing world with, you're going to say greatest knockouts, I'd put that Chavez over Taylor, just because Chavez was clearly losing the fucking fight with 2 seconds left, and he pulls it out of the jaws of defeat. With this one, even with the eye pokes, there was no points taken away, but Max Holloway pretty much was winning the fight on the scorecards, as far as everyone thinks. I don't know if those scorecards have been released, but Max Holloway, most people think, was clearly winning the fight. So he basically just put the punctuation mark at the end of the sentence. Instead of just a unanimous decision victory, he gets a knockout victory, and so on and so forth. But once again, I dispute this is the greatest knockout in all of competitive, fighting sports or man-to-man combat sports, whatever you want to call it. I would actually put my personal favorite, I'm not claiming it's the greatest, I'm just saying my personal favorite, Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson, okay? So let's go back to this thing, the eye pokes. I just have to put an asterisk on this. I really do. I'm officially putting the asterisk on it. Chael Sonnen, everyone else can sing a song, say how great Max Holloway is. They were telling us on the UFC broadcast, all the fighters were saying Max was their favorite to win. I don't know what's wrong with these people. I mean, to me, he cheated, okay? And furthermore, what do we do about this cheating? And when I think about it, it's like in sports, there's not much that happens if you cheat. There's not much repercussions to really dissuade people or teams from cheating. I'm going to go back in recent history. You go back to World Series, 5-6 years ago, there was a team that was basically, they would watch the catcher with his, 1 or 2 or fastball curve, the signals to the pitcher. And then the team would watch it on the television monitors, and then they would have someone like in the pitcher's box, like some asshole would fucking smash a trash can to make a noise. I'm trying to remember what team that was. Was it Arizona? Was it St. Louis? Something like that. And that team won the World Series, and they didn't find out until like a year later, they being Major League Baseball, and they ended up suspending coaches and other people that were involved in this thing. I believe the Red Sox coach at the time, he had bet on that World Series winning cheater team. He had moved over to the Red Sox, and I think he was suspended for a year. Look, folks, if you look at this channel, it's One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan. There's a reason why pro wrestling comes first, because I can memorize all this fucking statistics in pro wrestling. Sports, there's just too many names for me to remember, but I remember certain things. What else? Tom Brady. Look, I was a Patriots fan. I was, in New England for all those glory years. But if you want to go back to Spygate, what was that, 2006, 2007? The Patriots were busted. I mean, they were putting guys out there with video cameras, and I don't know if Spygate was part of those 3 early, Tom Brady, Belichick victories, or if Spygate came, I'm trying to remember like what years the Spygate, I mean, I don't know if they even know, they being the National Football League, but in any regard, they didn't end up giving back any Super Bowl trophies, and there's no asterisks in any books. I think it's the 1919 World Series team, correct? With shoeless Joe Jackson and so forth. The team that was accused of throwing the World Series. So, you know, and I think they all get suspended for life, those players. Pete Rose gets suspended for life for betting. But the reality is, if you cheat, like not in a bad way to the game, like the disrespect to the game, whatever game it is, through behavior, but if you cheat in terms of cheating, breaking the rules in order to win, to get a competitive advantage in winning, there's not a lot of repercussions if you really think about it. You pay a fine, but the fines never really do damage to these people because they make so much money. Belichick got fined. I mean, did Brady get fined? Brady got suspended for 4 games for Inflategate years later, which I dispute Deflategate. I think Deflategate was kind of a reactionary thing to Spygate. Going back to this eye poke, what is the repercussions for poking the eyes for Max Holloway in the first round? Thumbs in the eyes, 2 separate eyes, 2 separate thumbs. Does he get a warning? Does he get a point deducted? And once again, people might think, well, it doesn't matter because he ended up knocking him out. It actually does matter, because if a point was deducted after that first round, the whole fight changes. You know, it's a butterfly effect. Each fighter, if Gaethje knows that he gets out of there, I keep thinking of Theodore Gaethje, Justin Gaethje, whatever the hell. But Justin, basically, his strategy is different. His feeling is different. Perhaps Max is a little more tentative. Perhaps if there was a warning, you know, God forbid, after the first eye poke, there's not a second eye poke. A warning meaning like a penalty, a point deduction after the first eye poke. I've seen these eye pokes a lot more often, I think, in recent UFC fights. There was something that came out on Friday, I believe, an hour-long video about the UFC making new gloves or a redesign of the gloves. I would love to see a glove that somehow fights these eye-poking things. I'm wondering if the glove should actually have coverings on the finger, because I got to think that it's less intrusive to get a gloved cover finger in your eye than just a human bare fucking finger in your eye, because of the grime and what if a guy has like a nasty fingernail? I mean, do these guys have to have their fingernails trimmed to a certain length, or is that anything goes? I'm just asking the questions. I don't have the answers. So anyway, I'm putting a fucking asterisk there, Max. I don't think you're the BMF. I think you're the baddest eye pokerer. Congratulations, you're the eye poking champion. As far as this title, I know that there was the previous fight. Was it Sandoval? I can't get these names right. There was that, and then I did watch the Justin Poirier, Gaethje, whatever the fuck. That fight was anticlimactic. I'm a Justin Poirier fan. I like him, but he didn't really do much in that fight. I think that was over in 2 rounds. I don't remember that being a 5-round fight, but maybe I'm forgetting something. But if this title, now it seems like this title is like a real title. It's confusing to me, because does that mean this title is restricted to one weight division, or can this title follow a champion around if he bounces around weight divisions or takes fights back and forth between two or more divisions? I'm a little confused. I mean, Dana White's, giving himself a blowjob about this thing, telling us how great he is and how smart he is for coming up with this $1 million man type of belt. I mean, honestly, it just reminds me of pro wrestling. And this was my fear, folks, as both a pro wrestling fan and a UFC fan. I wasn't happy about the two things joining, because I thought that was a strength, especially in the UFC regard, that they weren't pro wrestling. And now that these two mega companies have joined for a mega company, TKO, I don't like these lines being crossed. I don't like these things being blurred. It's disturbing to me. I think it diminishes mixed martial arts. It diminishes UFC. And I'm a pro wrestling fan, much bigger overall than an MMA fan, but for the integrity of UFC, I don't think it's a good idea that they merged with WWE. So I'm going on to another topic here, but I'll go back to the eye poking. Let me know what the hell you think if you've hung around here for 15 minutes. I just feel that the eye pokes had a bigger influence in this fight than anyone's giving them credit for. They're trying to play nice. They're kissing ass to Max Holloway. They're trying to make another superstar out of a mid-carder, and so on and so forth. You might be thinking, well, gee whiz, Max Holloway is fucking awesome. Okay, MMA guy. I'm sure that he is. But for the general fucking public asshole like myself, what I see is what I see. I see eye pokes, I see no repercussions, and I see a guy, Gaethje, to me, is the real goddamn champion here, because he's suffering these eye pokes, yet he continues to fight, he continues to defend this made-up secondary title, whatever the fuck it is, and I think he's the real winner. So Max Holloway, in my mind, pal, you're disqualified. You're not the BMF. You're the eye-poking champion of the goddamn world, and that's about it. So MikeMessier.com, go over there, do what you want to do. You can subscribe or not. You can purchase one of my books or not, okay? You can follow me on social media or don't. I mean, these are all options that you have. You can push the thumbs up or you cannot. These are choices that you get to make in this wonderful world. But if you've gotten the 16 and a half minutes with me, thanks. Leave a comment or don't. And so forth. But yeah, overall, 300 was a great deal. I really wish my video had the captured audio last night, but it didn't. So here's my hot take. Max Holloway, you get an asterisk.